Hello guys, what is up? So this is my first video regarding a Gunpla I worked on. This is the Astray red frame Kai master grade. I haven't really had much practice with Gundams. As you can see in my other collection, they're full of hobby grades and a carnival one. So this was my goal to spend some time and try a master grade kit out. So I did skip the real grade. So yeah, and this was hand painted. As you can see, this is one of the weakness of traditional painting. The acrylic paint really comes off easily. So if I would recommend we coat our sets with either flat coat or flat top or gloss top. So it really depends. And some of the parts here, as you can see, for the black outlines, I've used Gundam markers. It's a lot easier than acrylic, and it doesn't really scratch off easily. The downside is if you constantly put layers, it tends to become shiny, like what happened to the breastplate, since I was testing the waters with that one. But however, for the katanas, they didn't really end up that glossy. And for the other thing here, I did use water decals. As you can see, compared to the stickers, the dry stickers, these ones aren't really that obvious, so it has that more realistic feel to it. And yeah, the other thing I painted was the red parts. They were painted with tamiya flat red flat, or flat red rather. And the gray parts here, I did copy the ones from the perfect grade, or I forgot which Astray it was, but yeah, this was royal gray tamiya paint. And as you can see, if you don't make your tamiya, if you don't dilute the paint thinly, it looks plastic, and it sort of, the part loses its edges and it rather curves it out. So I'd watch out for that as compared to the thinner layers. I don't know why this came off. It probably got scratched, but that's almost 4 layers of thin acrylic paint, so I'm not sure as what happened there. But as for the panel lines, it's standard Gundam fine tip black marker, as you can see there, and the face. I'm not sure I panel lined most of it, because another thing, yeah, I did panel line some of the parts here, the vents on the back, the arms, some of the lines in the back, and the legs and the vents as well. Because one of the things you need to take note of is when you panel line using a Gundam panel line marker, when you paint over some certain parts, like for instance the red, I did coat this with the red flat. So what happens is I cannot panel line this since Gundam markers are alcohol based, and what happens is it tends to rub off the acrylic and clogs the pen. So I'd watch out for that, and you cannot afford erasers. So I would suggest using the Tamiya ink marker, since it flows easily and it's not like a pen. And you have to be really careful. If I could redo this, I would panel line and then just tape the panel lines, or really use fine tip brushes to avoid going over the panel lines. And as you can see, the only real weakness I can see with this paint is with the traditional paint is it really comes off. I'm sorry guys, I haven't really coated this with a flat coat, and I also took the liberty to take those ugly gold swords and coat it with Tamiya gold leaf, so now it looks more like a iron gold sort of thing. And as for the arms and some of the parts in the legs, I didn't like that it was looking too red for me, so I did mix in a little black in there. I did sort of paint the inside black, So yeah, I just like my Astray to have a little more black to it. I did paint the inner frame of the arms as well, especially under here. You wouldn't want to have like red and black inside, so I did coat it black. And if you can see through the vents, I did coat the inside black as well, because I believe that the machinery of a Gundam should always be black. It was just too red for me. Like, who would make an engine all red or paint it all red? Low would. So yeah, there it is, more black neck. So it just really adds that layer. Oh shoot, it just really adds that layer to it. It just gives it more character. I'm sorry guys, I don't really have, I should have put this on the stand. It's my bad. It's really my first time trying to show what I've done with the Gundam, since I've had this on my to-do list for so long. It's like a childhood dream. So there it is, my Astray. And one of the things I want to notice for people who want to try out building the master grade Astray is you have to be careful with the back, the sword mount or the stand mount or the tactical arms mount, because here's what happened to mine. It easily snaps. So this is like the third time it snapped off. It tends to have a tight grip on the sword or the tactical arms mode, and if you're not careful, it will really snap. It's really brittle, so I suggest you really be careful. And trying to mount this using that with a post or using that mounted on the back is rather complicated, because the sword is heavy and some stands cannot take it. That's why I decided to get the Sinanju master grade, or I'm not sure if this is master grade or perfect grade, but it's a rather large stand. But the stand is compatible with what the Astray comes with, so just shoot this little fella in there and it will do the trick. As you can see here, yeah, there it is. It really just comes in tightly, and that goes under the Astray. Just shoot him under it there, and it will put your Astray on the stand, making it easier to pose with the sword. Where did that piece go? Yeah, right. Here's what happened. It literally got stuck on the Buster sword. I think the cement like wasn't really fully dry, so I have to find a way to fix that. And now going into the Buster sword, I didn't like white and red, because what kind of sword would have white edges? It looked plastic. So I used warm gray to give it sort of like that iron feeling to it, and coated it with flat red to give it that construction red metal type of thing. I didn't coat the handle and this part here because I felt lazy. I have a 9-hour work, and sometimes it takes me 12 hours to finish a job. So I really wanted to get the Astray over with. I think this project took me almost 4 weeks. I had to do it piece by piece, like the arms for this week, the torso for this week. So it really takes time when you really want to get the edges properly done. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all there is to this Astray unit. As for the articulation, I think Gunpla the Gotatsu guy, the other guy who has a lot of Gundam videos, does articulation videos, and for me, I haven't really had much difficulty posing this, but he goes way in depth when it comes to describing the features of the Astray. What else can I say about this? And the sides, yes, this one, the sides on the skirt, they really tend to pop off. So, but they're still movable. But this particular piece right here, this one tends to pop off when you're doing poses. So I suggest you just cement that. because you can still move the belt up and down. Honestly, there you go. So it still has that. So the perk is it doesn't come off the belt anymore. So that's one of the things you need to keep in mind when building this kit. Aside from that, I really have nothing else to say. Aside from that, you have to keep in mind this thing. If you're planning to traditional build, I mean traditional paint, sorry, you want to just refrain from refrain from transforming this over and over. So you have to make up your mind which you want your red frame to pose with, because the paint really comes off easily. So I would suggest we refrain from that, as well as the Gundam itself. Now, traditionally painted, there are some areas that have scratches thanks to me trying to pose it, or I'm trying to enjoy my kit. I should really coat that with a top coat, since they did say that if you want the paint to stay, you have to top coat it. Although you need to be careful, because I heard that it could sometimes look frosted or have the frosting effect. So there are a couple of useful YouTubers with guides on how to top coat. But yeah, I hope you did enjoy my damn it, I didn't get to keep it under 10 minutes. I'm sorry guys. I did hope you got to enjoy my review. I'm sorry if I am a bit nervous, and this is really my first time speaking out about a hobby of mine that I'm really passionate of. So I hope you guys don't hate it that much, and I hope you do like my first attempt at being a Gunpla artist. Yeah, we're still a long way, but I do plan to continue the traditional hand painting, since I did notice the lack of people doing it, and I aim to master it to the point that the layers are even and it comes on par with spray painted kits or airbrush kits. So thank you so much guys for watching my short video, and I do hope that for in America, YouTube decides to the algorithm decides to get viewers and subscribers, so I can earn a little bit more just to continue with my Gundam hobby. Well, thank you guys so much, and I hope to be able to post another one of my kits, hopefully this December or early New Year next year, if things aren't too busy with work and personal issues, like personal financial issues. You definitely see me if everything goes well this year. I'm planning to get the Mark II Titans. I do have the what do you call this? The high grade Mark II with the Zaku rifle. Yes, I've always liked how when a Gundam uses a huge ass rifle, especially this guy, gives off like a spec op type of Gundam unit. So yeah, this was my second kit. I actually built this second. As you can see, there are so much amateur mistakes here. Like, I didn't really sand out where I cut the piece from. I used the dry stickers. This is not coated at all, and I did cement some of the joints just to keep it in place. I know I didn't cement this part, but I think I cemented like tassets here and the chest pieces. But yeah, I'm in love with this kit, since it may be a hobby grade, but the parts barely come off. This has been with me for almost 3 years or 4 years, and I've only lost this part here. I really have no recollection where it went. So yeah, so that's one. I did hear that there was a master grade version of this. Please comment if the master grade of Mark II is worth it or not, since I am in debate of whether of getting that one or settling down for a Barbatos. But there are just so many kits with Barbatos, and I really can't come close to how they're doing it, since they airbrush, and their level of skill is just way above mine. So I'm just not feeling Barbatos since it comes off as pretty mainstream. And the last kit I was thinking about is the Zaku. I did hear from the Gundam community and Reddit that this bad boy here has a master grade. I do hope that it's more detailed than this, because I do plan to coat the Zaku with military green or black and green or military brown, so it comes off as a really military unit. And as for this piece, I lost the fin, the top fin on the helmet, so that's the only piece it's lost so far. As for the Barbatos, the mace plastic snap, I do remember this was my first kit, so I would remember the part that I snapped off when I tried to clip it off was the mace's lower part handle. So that's one of that. So these were my first 3 amateur build, and then this was where I really went into the details. Tamiya paint, fine tip traditional brushes, Gundam markers, and a custom stand, and water decals all the way from Hong Kong, since I couldn't really find any local shops. So yeah, I did hope you enjoyed my amateur Gundam review, and if all goes well, I will see you guys this December.